and welcome to Tuesday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where we're going to be taking a look at a puzzle called Ripple by Mormagli today. This one's been recommended to us a few times. Apparently it's wonderful. I've just looked it up on Logic Masters Germany and noted with trepidation that it's another 5-star out of 5 difficulty puzzle. A huge rating and lots of lovely comments from some very well-known solvers. But I'm hoping, I have to say, I really am hoping it's not going to be like yesterday's puzzle, Rosette by Glipperal, which well, the video is 1 hour and 50 minutes long. Many of you actually seem to have managed to stay with me for the whole period and watch the whole thing. Thank you very much if you did watch it to the end. The comments have been delightful, to be honest, and it's just a testament to Glipperal's incredible puzzle. So if you want to look at the puzzle we're dubbing the hardest puzzle of 2022, check out yesterday's video and do try and make time to have a go at this. Maybe something to do over Christmas in those quiet moments that there are so many of. It's a wonderful puzzle, but it really wasn't easy for me, at least. So let's hope. Well, I'm hoping at least today won't be quite as hard. It's a beautiful idea. These are all equal sum lines for those of you familiar with those rules, and literally we just get 3 lines. And that's it. Well, some paltry little white dots as well, but there's not much else going on. So it's a fascinating idea with a pretty picture to boot, and I'll read the rules in just a moment or two. What do I want to say first? A quick couple of shout outs. Nim Bachelor, thank you for your it's sort of a semi-paper on logic, which I did enjoy reading. I've never studied logic formally, so it was all news to me, and I did enjoy going through it. And also to Troy McDougall for the poem based around 'Twas the Night Before Christmas, which did raise a smile as well. A few birthdays today. Christine in Montreal, happy 13th birthday, I think. Gosh, in 2 years' time I won't even be able to announce your birthday. It will be such a secret. Nick from your wife Jess. Nick, you've turned 29 today. I hope you have a brilliant day with lots of cake. And Sophie from your boyfriend Paul. Sophie, I especially hope that you liked your presents, which I think included Cracking the Cryptic merchandise. Other than that, what else have we got? Over on Patreon, yes, we've got this fantastic... I must have got the Sudoku in a different place today on my screen. There we go, the Cryptic Scriptures of the Secret Snake Society. The feedback we've been getting on these puzzles has been terrific, and very well done to the following, who finished all of the puzzles. I think there are 16 to 18, something like that. Nora Hamacha, David Clare, Jim Davis, Harrison Beer, Lady Ruatha, Alex Pfeiffer, Ton Van Narman, Alberto Valari, Stuart Marsden, Stuart Tierney, Nintenbob, Stefan Winkle, Jarko Panjuni. Jarko, I think your name got me last month as well. Jarko Pajuniemi, it's easy. Come on, Simon. John Andrew McCulloch, Oliver Koch, and Vincent Kwok. All of you sent in the correct entries. Very well done. And with that said and done, let me talk about Ripple. And let's see what's going on with Mormagli's puzzle. The rules are as follows. Normal Sudoku rules apply. Cells separated by a white dot must contain consecutive digits. So if this cell was a 1, that cell would have to be a 2. That's how consecutive digits work. A knowledge bomb for you from Cracking the Cryptic. Have I got the right glasses on? I think I have. Gosh, that's good. Along each blue line, each time that line passes through a 3x3 region, the sum of the digits on that pass sum to the same value. If the line passes through a 3x3 region multiple times, each pass is summed separately. E.g., on the innermost line, right, row 3 column 4, which is that one, plus row 3 column 5, which is that one. So those two, right, I think I know what this is going to say. Is it going to say that they add up to the same as those? Row 4 column, yes. Okay, so I'm just going to highlight some cells now on the presumption I understand the rules in the beautiful new palette I've got at my disposal. Boom. Brown. And then what should we make these? Grey. There you go. So each colour here has to sum to the same value. So if these added up to 6, then all of these other colours would have to contain 2 digits that summed to 6. If these sum up to 7, all of these have to contain 2 digits that sum to 7, etc, etc. I don't think 7 is going to work actually, but that's for a different reason. I don't think 6 will either, but we will get to that in a moment. Do have a go at the puzzle. The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual, and now I get to play. Let's get cracking and see what Mormagli has got in store for us. And I think, as I was doing that example then, I can see something going on in the middle box. And actually it derives from the secret. And the secret is something I only tell my very favourite people. But of course, if you are watching one of my videos, you're definitely in that set of people. So I'm going to tell you what the secret is. Now the secret is that any complete box of a Sudoku, indeed any complete row, any complete column, because by the rules of Sudoku, this box contains the digits 1 to 9 once each. Its total sum will be 45, because if you add up the digits 1 to 9, you get 45. So, surely, he says, we can do some mathematics on this box, because if we go back to my colouring, which I deleted foolishly, let's reinstate it, we know each of these little dominoes must have the same sum, because that's what the rules tell us about the nature of the line. So these 4 dominoes here, we could, because they have each sum to x, say, we could express their sum as 4 lots of x, 4x. So we know that this box in total could be expressed as 4x plus whatever this digit is in the middle. Now, the only thing we know about the digit in the middle is it has to be a valid Sudoku digit. So 4 times 7, let's say we did try and make each of these dominoes add to 7, we get 4 sevens is 28, and then to make 45 for the whole box, this cell would have to be a 17. Now you can't put 17 into a Sudoku, so that won't work. I think it feels like 9 is the absolute minimum we're going to be able to have as the domino total. And if we had 9 as the domino total, then we'd have 4 lots of 9, which is 36, and the central cell would be a 9 in order to make the whole box add up to 45. But other things are possible. If we had 10 as our coloured domino total, we'd have 40 in those 8 cells, so that would be a 5. If we had 11, well, that would even work. We would have 1 here. So this cell is 1, 5, or 9, and we know that our coloured dominoes, which also we have to remember, are going to sort of extend outside the box. So if this was a 1, we would know the coloured dominoes summed to 11 each individually, but so would the uncoloured dominoes at the moment outside this box. Right, so what do we do with this new information? We have 1, 5, or 9, and it doesn't feel like it's in anywhere near enough, does it? The total for the outside ring is at least 15, because there are 5 digits there on this leg of the ripple, 5 digits in box 1. Now the minimum I could make those digits would be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and the triangular number for 5 is 15, 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 plus 5. So we know therefore that those cells add up to at least 15, those add up to at least 15. Okay, so what I've now discovered is that the outer ring doesn't have any very short sections on it. I should have probably appreciated that immediately, but I didn't. The minimum number of cells on the outer ring is 3. So having a 15 minimum is not a particularly interesting feature. Okay, well let's look at those cells though. So the middle ring, you can see these 3 digits here have to have the same sum as this digit. Well, the minimum I could make those cells would be 1 plus 2 plus 3, which is 6. So that cell is at least a 6. It goes to a dyad here, look. Otherwise known as a domino. right. Hang on. That digit is the same as that digit. Look, because it's an equal sum line. So this has the same sum as this, has the same sum as those, has the same sum as those. That cell, which must therefore also be a 6, 7, 8, or 9. Those two digits are the same. Ooh, that's a horrible choice of colour. I apologise. Let's go light. No, I don't want that colour either. Brown? Yes, brown is fine. We'll go brown, and we will think about what that means. So, I mean, I'm seeing things like, if this is a 6, you're going to get 1s, 2s and 3s all over the place. They are going to be all over the place, which would probably be very helpful. That's probably the sort of thing that allows this puzzle to be solved. You know, it's going to be restricting these digits to either 6 or 7, probably, with 7 can only be 1, 2, 4. Right. Okay, I'm not seeing very much here. It's going to be, is it Sudoku related with the brown digits? No, I don't think it is. These coloured dominoes are distracting me. I'm getting rid of them. Come on, Simon. My brain's probably used up after yesterday. It's probably, I've used up all its intelligence now. And it'll be useless now for several weeks as it recharges. It's not going to be these, is it? Surely not. No. No, it's just not. Okay, maybe I've got to think harder then about the options. So if this is a 1, each of these dominoes is summing to 11. 5 gives 10, 9 gives 9. Ah. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. That's lovely. That is a lovely thought. Good grief. I love that. Right, I've spotted something good. Okay, well done, brain. Look at this box for a moment and consider those cells as a unit. Now, I have no idea what those cells sum to. Well, actually, I do have a tiny idea now, but I didn't have any idea what they sum to. But you can see that we can see this box's overall total as made up of whatever the sum is for the inner line, plus whatever the sum is for the middle line, plus whatever the sum is for the outer line, plus whatever sits in this cell here, which is sort of a spare cell making up the balance. But look here, that's the same. This box has got exactly the same profile mathematically. It's the sum of 2 cells here, which are going to sum to the same as these, 3 cells here, which will sum to the same as those, and 3 cells here, which will sum to the same as those. So these 2 digits must be the same balancing total, if you like, to get us up to 45, because the yellow portions of these boxes will add up to the same number. But this continues in boxes 8 and box 4. Down here you've got 2, 3, 3, so that's got to be a red digit, and these are all the yellow digits. And in this box you've got exactly the same again, and that's the red digit, and this is the kicker. This is the kicker now by Sudoku. The red digits, I don't like red actually, I'm going to change it, green. The green digits are all the same number. So where does green go in the middle box? And by Sudoku it goes there. And therefore these digits are all 1, 5 and 9. And that's really rather wonderful. I don't know what it does, but it must be deliberate. What does that mean? Oh gosh, I was about to pencil mark green into there, but the fact is green could be brown, which is a slightly annoying factor. Otherwise I would have known that line has a green on it. Can I do a bit more Sudoku-wise? It really depends on the value of green, doesn't it? So now we can... I don't know. Again, I'm a bit nonplussed. I suspect I'm meant to do Sudoku here. But it might be that we've got to do maths again. I mean, if this is a 1, does that mean something? I mean, obviously it means those cells sum to 44. Is that in any way tricky? Oh, I suppose... Right, hang on. If that's a 1, of course I then know what this domino adds up to. Because making this a 1 makes all of... let's just look at this. If we make all greens a 1, then I know that every domino on the inner line adds up to 11. So that adds up to 11. So that gives me 12. Ooh, it's only just possible, actually. That is only just possible, which makes me think it's probably correct. Because if this adds up to 11, the absolute maximum I can make those 3 digits is to add up to 9, and that's by making this a 9. And if I don't make these add up to 9, I've got a problem up here, because by making this add up to 9, given these cells add up to 12, I get 21 in those 6 cells, which allows these to be a 7, 8, 9 triple. And obviously I can't make them more than 7, 8 or 9, so if I've made this an 8, these would have to add up to 25, and that would have been impossible. So this looks quite favourable, doesn't it? So if this is true, we'd have 11s in all of these. Every strip here would add up to 9, and every 3 cell... Oh, no, right, sorry, no, this doesn't work. Oh, this doesn't work. That's surprising. Okay, well, no, it's still good. Right, this doesn't work because in order to achieve this, in order to make a 1 possible, remember I made that cell a 9, but browns are the same number, so that makes that cell a 9. But these cells would have to add up to 24, so they'd have to be 7, 8, 9, and we get 2 9s in box 9, and that won't work. So it's wrong. Well, it's wrong, but it's good, because now we've got rid of a digit in our green cells. So now let's try 5. Okay, why doesn't 5 work? So if we go 5 here, now this domino adds up to 10, doesn't it? So I've got 15 here. So these still have to add up to quite a lot, but not quite as much as before. $15, 24 is the absolute maximum for those 6 cells. That's making this a 9 again. Oh, now down here I've got to put 5 on the line. What's the total up here? This is weird. I'm jumping about here trying to work. I think there's something going on between this box 2, and box 9. There is some maths that seems to keep emerging. So the minimum sum... Well, actually that's interesting. That doesn't work. I don't think I can make this a 9. Because if I make this a 9, and therefore this a 9, then unless I've got my maths wrong, I thought those had to add up to 21. Let me just double check that. So if this is 5, this is adding up to 10 because of the way the inner line works. So I've got 15 there, 9 more there, that's 24. So these have to add up to 21 to get me to 45. And that means those 3 cells have to add up to 21. But it's broken for a horrible reason. Well, it's quite cool actually, but it's hard to see if you have a 3-cell sequence that doesn't have a 9 on it, there's only one way to get to 21, and that's with 6, 7 and 8. But there's a 5 on the line preventing it being 6, 7 and 8, so that can't work. But that doesn't mean that 5 is the wrong option, because, of course, we've still got degrees of freedom here. We could reduce this to 8. I don't know what this does, but it's going to change the numbers, because now I can put 9 on this line. So therefore, what would we have? We'd have 15 here, 23, so I need 22. Oh no, it still doesn't work, but only just now. This would be 22. With a 5 on it would have to be 5, 8, 9, so that doesn't work. I'm presuming, does 7 work or not? I'm hoping not now. If I could get this to be 9, that would seem very useful. Right, so now again I've got 15, 22, no. Now it's broken. Now it's properly broken, because we're going higher here, aren't we? We're going to 23 and 24 with a 5 as part of the sum. It simply cannot work. 23 needs 6, 8, 9. Doesn't need 5. Right. So that's done it. We've done it. We have done it. We have got rid of 5 as an option. So now I've got digits. I've got 5 digits for free. I've got no 9 in brown anymore by Sudoku, so that's not a 9 anymore. That means that every one of these 3-cell strings in the middle ring, if we look around the middle ring, I think maybe they're only in yellow, are they? Yeah, they are. Okay, so the middle ring, the yellow digits on the middle ring have to add up to 6, 7 or 8. So they've always got to have a 1 on them, which is rather pretty. Unfortunately, they're all offset apart from in this box, so we can only do Sudoku really with the ones in this box. Now I also know, of course, that the inner ring, I know the inner ring's total, which is now 9. So that adds up to 9. So that adds up to 18. So if this is an 8, 18, 26, that would make those add up to 19. That doesn't seem very, very exciting. Or what about if it's the other way? If that was 6, then we'd have 18, 24, 21. Right, so these are either 19, these three, well, the total, I suppose, the total for the outer line is either 19, 20 or 21. Which is good. I mean, it's good that we've got it down so much. And the total for the middle ring is 6, 7 or 8. And the total for the inner ring is 9. 9 has to be on that string of digits by Sudoku. And the middle ring, no, it's not the middle ring. It looks like it should be the middle ring, but it's not by the time it gets here. It's the outer ring that's sort of dipped in, the outer edge of the ripple. So that's adding up to 19, 20 or 21. Okay, it's not very surprising. It's got a 9 on it. Okay. So now I'm going to think about what's the inner ring? 9 again, isn't it? Okay, well you can't. Right. So in this box, where does 8 go? I can't put 8 on the inner ring anymore because it would need to have a 1 with it, and the 1 seems to be on the middle ring. And 8 certainly can't go on the middle ring, because we know the middle ring is 3 digits that sum to 6, 7 or 8. So if I make one of the digits 8, I'd have to make the other 2 digits 0. That most certainly won't work. So 8 is on the outer ring, which we know is summing to 19, 20 or 21, without using a 9. Oh, so 21 is still possible. You rotten thing. Oh, in fact, look, yeah, if it was 21, it could be 6, 7, 8, and then that would be 4, 5. And this would be a 1, 2, 3 triple, with this being a 6, which is probably how this all gets filled in. So if these are both 6s, you get 1, 2, 3 here, 1, 2, 3 here, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You always get 4, 5. Oh, this is brilliant. This is 8. These are 8. Both of these digits are 8. I love this. This is even more. This is even cleverer of Mormagli than the green thing that we've got going on. Because look, watch this. If we make these 6, because remember the inner ring has to add up to 9. Now we're going to have 1s, 2s, and 3s in all of these cells. So in order to make these dominoes on the outside of the inner ring add up to 9 without using 1, 2, and 3, we have to make them all 4s and 5s. Well, where are we putting 4 and 5 in the middle box now? And the answer is nowhere. Because wherever you put the 4 or the 5, don't forget it's on a domino. Maybe I'll reinstate the dominoes now. I don't know if I'll do some partial dominoage just to show you what I mean. Actually, I don't want that one. I'll do partial dominoes like this in pastel colours. So let's say we tried to put the 4 here. Well, then we would know this cell would have to be a 5 because we know this domino has to add up to 9. And if that's a 4-5 pair, this cell's broken. And it doesn't matter where you put the 4 or the 5 in the middle thing, it's always going to be on a little strut looking at a 4 or a 5. It's just the way the geometry is arranged. So it can't work. So what you cannot do, you cannot have the same combination adding up to 9 in these dominoes round the edge of box 5. And that means not only is 6 ruled out, but 7's ruled out as well, because if we put 7, you'd have 1, 2, 4 on the triples, and all of these inner thingies, technical term, would be 3, 6 pairs. And now you can't put 3 and 6 in the middle box either. You've got exactly the same strut problem. So that means that these are 8s. Actually, let's get rid of my 3s and 6s before I get confused about that. Let's replace these with 8s. Now, okay, so that's allowing... Now, that's certainly... I feel like that's telling me, and it is, that we can't always have the same method of making 8s around into these cells here. So imagine these were all 1, 3, 4. There are 2 ways of making 8 in 3 cells. 1, 3, 4 or 1, 2, 5. If these were all the same, say they were all 1, 3, 4s, then when we get to our inner rings, we would know this domino could not be 1, 8, it couldn't be 3, 6, it couldn't be 4, 5. So each one of these would become 2, 7, and we'd have nowhere to put 2 and 7 in the middle box. So we've got to make sure somehow, some way, that these can be different. But I think only one of them needs to be different from the other 3. So we probably need to think about this more. If I know this is 8, do I now know that? Yes, I do. Now I know my total for the outer ring. This is brilliant. This puzzle is absolutely brilliant. It's quite mathsy, but in a sort of lovely arithmetic way rather than a sort of advanced integration type way. We know this domino adds up to 9. We know this triomino adds up to 8, so that's 17. 17 add 9 is 26, so these add up to 19 in order to get us to 45. So this is 19. Okay, so there has to be a 1 and a 2, I think, on this string of digits. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6. I feel like that adds up to 20. Is that wrong? It might be, actually. 1, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, it adds up to 19. Oh, bobbins. That's right. Okay, so it doesn't have to have a 2 on it. Okay, well, we know there's a 1 on that string of digits. I don't think that's useful. Well, maybe actually. I can get rid of the 1s from these 2 positions because of the 1s here. So 1 is in one of those 3 cells. It's strange, isn't it? We've got all these deductions, and I've now got these 8s. I now know the outer total. Oh. No. Okay, sorry. I thought I was going to get this one. So we know that we've got a 9 on that string of digits, which sums to 19. So the other 2 digits sum to 10. But they're not 2, 8, and they're not 1, 9, or you would repeat the 9. So this is either 3, 7, 9, or 4, 6, 9. It's sort of Goodliff-esque levels of pencil marking there. Right. Golly, golly, gosh. So what is it I'm meant to do now? Perhaps I've got to look at those 3 cells. What do they add up to? So they add up to the difference between 45 and 19 plus the middle one, which is 8, which is 27. Right, they add up to 18 in 3 cells. That's totally useless. Bobbins. These are the same then, are they? Yes, they are. Yes, they are. These add up to 18. So we can see they do have to have 1 and 2 in them. But we don't have 1s looking at these cells, so that's not even helpful. This one, these add up to 18 as well. That is the same, isn't it? We've got 9 here, 8 here. Not 19 there, 8 there, which is 27, so yes, 18 here. Okay, right, so I know something about those 3 cells. I say this was 18, yes, it's this, yes, okay, yeah, alright, let's try and remember that, yes, the total for the blank digits in all of the corner boxes must be the same, because the geometry is the same, isn't it? The inner ring never touches boxes 1, 3, 7 and 9. So the leftover digits in these 3 boxes must add to the same number. So it's 45 minus 19 minus 8, which is 18, I think. So these add up to 18, they add up to 19, that's 37, which means these add up to 8, which means they include a 1. Aha, okay, I'll get rid of one more pencil mark. So these add up to 8. Ooh, right, that is going to be a call for more colouring, I think. Right, I'm going to get rid of my yellow colouring now, because I've just seen something there. Right, these 3 cells, now which colour shall I choose? I'll make them red, I think. Those 3 cells add up to 8. Now we know those 3 cells add up to 8 as well. So whatever flavour of 8 this is must be different from this flavour of 8, because otherwise this cell would have no option. If this was 125 and this was 125, that cell would be broken. So one of these is 134, one of these is 125. Oh, my phone's buzzing, that's okay. Neither of these cells can be any of the digits 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5, because if we think about the options for making 8, we've got 1, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 5. Between the 2 of them, all 5 of the low digits are used. So these digits, you can see they see all of red, the reddy colour, they see all of the yellowy colour. So those have to be high digits, which are 6, 7, 8 and 9. That can't be 9 or 8. Whoa, that's interesting. Look, that's come right down. This one can't be 8 or sorry, pregnant pause while I try and work out why it can't be 9. Well, maybe it is 9 actually, because 9 in this box is now really restricted, because these add up to 8. They can't include a 9, so the 9 is up here, which means the 9 is in one of 2 places in box 7. We know those 3 digits add up to 18. I've remembered that this time. So we've got 2 other digits here that add up to 9 that aren't 1, 8. So this is 2, 7, 3, 6 or 4, 5, which is not very helpful. Oh, come on, Simon. I feel like we're close actually here to... Can I get that digit? These add up to 8. The outer line adds up to 19. So these add up to 11. And that is a 6, 7 or a 9. So that is a 2, 4 or a 5. And... oh no! It's almost... well, it's another low digit. So in this box now we've got 4 low digits, i.e. 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s and 5s. And okay, that's a yellow digit then. That's the corollary of that, isn't it? Because it can't be a red digit, and yet it is in the panoply of digits that belong to yellow and red together. So that's a yellow digit. Right, so here's a nice point actually. What about, where does red go in box 4? Yeah, that's a really interesting question. Where does red go in box 4? And the answer is exactly into those cells. Because we can't put 2 digits into this domino and say that they are red, because we know that this domino adds up to 9, and yet we know those 3 cells add up to 8. So whichever 2 of those 3 cells we pick, we won't get as high as 9. There is a knowledge bomb for you as well from Cracking the Cryptic. 8 is a lower number than 9. So that means that although I could put 1 red digit on here, I couldn't make both of these digits red. And if I can't make both of these digits red, there must be 2 red digits in this string of digits. And therefore, all 3 of them must be red. Because if you put, say, 1 and 3 on here, the other digit will be 4, i.e. the other red digit. So now we've got the great reddening of the outer rings. And we can... Sudoku now is telling us that... well, have I got these... no, hang on. Maybe I've got these rings... no, okay. Is that red now? I want to say that's red. If I can see that in this column, by Sudoku, these 2 digits, whatever they are, have to go in 2 of those 3 cells. Now, if they both went on here, that would imply this cell was a 0, because it would be implying that those 2 cells added up to 8, because that's what they would need to be in this box. And that can't be right. So that cell is red, and one of these 2 cells is red. Golly, this is complicated. This is really complicated. One of these 2 cells is red. It's complicated mainly, actually, because I think there's a lot going on here. I think that there's all of these tiny interactions between these digits, any one of them could be meaningful. You see, yellow has to be in one of these three cells. So if this was yellow, so what about if we had two yellows here? Does that, well, no, we would know that that would be yellow then, but that's just the same argument that we've just been doing down here. I don't think that actually advances the cause of knowledge. Ah, is there an 8 on this line? Yes, there must be. Where does 8 go in box 4? Well, it can't go on a line that adds up to 8, so it's got to go over there. So 8 is on one of these three cells. So, hang on. So this is the outer line, isn't it? Okay, so I've got 3 cells. Once I deduct the 8 out of 19, I've got 3 cells that add up to 11, so they don't have to have a 1 on them. Right, what a... Oh no, I tell you the other thing I'm struggling with in my brain is that 8 and 9 are such similar numbers. I know that they're different. I do know they're different, but they're such similar numbers that I keep getting confused about what exactly it is I'm proving. Okay. So... how do we do this then? How do we do this? We got to say that is it possible that a yellow and a red digit can be on this domino? This domino adds up to 8, doesn't it? Not 9. So I have to pick 1 from 1, 3 and 4 and 1 from 1, 4 and 5. Okay, and I can't pick... so it'd have to... okay, 5, 3 would work. Bobbins. That's annoying. That's annoying. Okay. Because if that wasn't the case, I would know that digit was on there, and that might have been interesting. Oh, that's an interesting thought, though. Hang on a minute. Right, this domino here, which adds up to 9, not 8, can't be 1, 8. That's very clear. But I've just thought of another thing it can't be. It can't be 4, 5. Because if it's 4, 5, this 8 triple is impossible. Because 1, 3, 4 and 1, 2, 5 would be deprived of existing. So that's either 2, 7 or 3, 6. And whatever it is, its counterpart. So if 2 is used on here, then 3 will be used on here. If 3 is used on here, 2 will be used on here. And what's this one adding up to? This one's adding up to... that's the 8 line, isn't it? So this is adding up to 8. Right, so that's interesting. This one can't be 2, 6 anymore. Because if this is 2, 6 to add up to 8, these two cells are a 3, 7 pair, and they would add up to 10, not 9. So that's not 2, 6, so it's 3, 5 or 1, 7. Now, surely we can do something with that. If this is 3, 5 or 1, 7... so, hang on, if it's 3, 5 or 1, 7, maybe we can't do anything with this. If it's 3, 5, that's 2, 7. 3, 5, 2, 7, that becomes a 6 or a 9. If it's 1, 7... okay. Okay, so 3 and 7 are always used up in that 4 ball there, that this collection tetromino. I-tetromino. Probably a more accurate description than a 4-ball. So I've got golf on the brain. Because if this doesn't have a 7 in it, it's 3, 5. And that forces that to be 2, 7. And if this does have a 7 in it, it forces this to be 3, 6. So there's always a 3 and a 7 in those cells. So that is not a 7. Which means that, what are these adding up to? 11. If this is not a 7, this is not a 4. Ah, that's it. That's mad. Right, okay, but this is good. This is really good. Because this cell is a yellow digit, and it's now a 2 or a 5. So we can't put 1, 2, 5 now into red, because that will break this cell. So red is 1, 3, 4, which means 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4. Ah, this is good. This is great. Now this is not 3, 6. So this is 2, 7. Let's get rid of our corner pencil marking. This is now not 1, 7. So this is 3, 5. So that means that this did have yellow on it. It was a yellow red pair, because it's got a 3 from red and a 5 from yellow. Does that? No, I was about to say, does that mean that digit is there? But it doesn't necessarily. If that's a 2, it could be there. Oh, right, never mind. We still have made progress here. We're doing better than we were. So now those digits are now known. 5, 6, and 8 by Sudoku, and that means, look, that's not a 1. And that means these cells have got to include 2, 7, and 9, I think. And that means we can get rid of 9 from here. The 3 from here, because of the 3 that exists in these 2 cells. I know that, right, I know this is a red, oh, I see, yeah, okay. I know this is red from my colouring, and it can't be 3, so it's got to be 1 or 4. It makes a pair in this column. So those 2 cells at the top have got to be a 6. Ah, this is good. This is good as well. That's got to be a 6, 9 pair. That gives me a digit. That's got to be a 7. So this is 2 or 5 to complete this box, and 2 or 5 is the other yellow digit. This is 1, 2. Oh, dear, dear, dear. Sorry, I wanted to put 1, 2, and 5 in there, and it was going all chromatic on me. This is a 1, 2, 5 triple. Does that mean I know what those squares are? They add up to 9. They're not 1, 8, 2, 7, or 5, 4. Yes, I do. They are 3 and 6, which means that's not 3. So those squares are now known. They're 4, 7, 8. Let's check. 4, 7, and 8 do add up to 19. And if this is 4, 7, and 8, that's not 4. I've got a horrible feeling that there's all sorts of Sudoku I can do in that row, but I can't actually see how to do it. Okay. So, what do we do now? Have we learnt enough that we can make more progress? Probably this one is adding up to 8, isn't it? Yeah, that's 1, 7 now. This domino here, because it can't be 3, 5 or 2, 6. So that becomes 1, 7. 1's now a line, look, in boxes 3 and 6. So we can ask where 1 goes in column 9, and it's got to find a home at the very bottom. Do I know there's a 7 in there? No, I don't, do I? Bother. Okay. Let's try and find something else to look at. These add up to... it's tricky, this. It's still not solved by any manner or means. Okay, but if that's a 1, 7 pair, this is 4. That's 3, that's 1. So that's better, isn't it? That's at least given us some digits. So this cell is the other yellow digit. That is a 2 or a 5. And that means, probably means something. I'm sure it means something. Oh, good grief. Come on, Simon. Use your brain. What's going on? Can we... I don't know. Ah! Wow, I'm still very stuck here. It was going quite well for a moment or two, and yet now I feel like I'm still in puzzle purgatory. So where is the obvious place to look? Maybe there isn't an obvious place to look. Maybe that's the problem. Does it matter that I know that this is 1, 7? Does it matter beyond knowing there's a 1 down there? Does it matter that I know there's a 7 in here? I don't know. Can I do maybe 8s? I know there's an 8 up here now. 8 here, 8 here. So 8 is in... oh, no, it doesn't quite work. 8's in one of 2 places in box 3, but it could still be on the line. 9? Do we know enough about 9 to pinpoint it in this box up here? I don't think so. I know those 2 added up to 11, don't I? Okay, that still doesn't want to resolve itself. Right, so... okay, here is a small point. You know that when I looked at, I think it was this domino, and I concluded quite correctly that it couldn't be 4, 5, because that would break the 8 triple that was connected with it. Well, doesn't that apply for those dominoes as well? Because they've got 8 triples connected with them, so I think that must be right. So all of these cells are either 2 7s or 3 6s. Now, is that helpful? Is the next question. So, is there a problem now if I make that? I'd love it if that was true, but I can't quite justify it in my brain. What I'm imagining is, what happens if you have the same domino opposite each other? Let me just look at that. If that is the same flavour as that, where do I put 3 and 6 in the middle box? Does it have an escape valve? That's crazy clever. Okay, I had not appreciated this at all. It's much more constrained, this middle box, than I'd realised. That's lovely. It's just lovely. Right. So I had appreciated that there was a big issue with having the same domino of digits around in these particular cells here. That I can agree that I spotted. But what I hadn't appreciated is if you have the same domino opposite itself, that too is an impossibility actually, because of the way these struts work. So let's just try this. If I make this 3 6 and this 3 6, where should we try and put 6 in the middle box? Well, by Sudoku, and this is very crucial, you cannot put it in either of those squares. So, and you clearly can't put it on this strut, because that will cause a 6-3 pair, which will break this cell. You can't put it here, because that will cause a 3 here, and that will break because there's a 3-6 pair. You can't put it a 3-6 pair there because of this strut. And if you try and put it here, you've got the same problem with 3 here. It just doesn't go anywhere. So actually, that's a 2-7 pair, and by analogous logic then, this can't be a 2-7 pair and has to be a 3-6 pair. That's so pretty. I wonder if I'd understood that earlier, whether I could have made quicker progress in the puzzle. I fear maybe I could have done. I love that though. That's about the third beautiful moment in this puzzle. I wonder who does puzzles like this and doesn't rate them sort of 100%. Because, I mean, what's not to love about this? It's just, oh, that's a 9. It's just brilliant. It's got really interesting ideas in it. That's not 9 now. Okay. So this is 2 7. So this, right. So this flavour of 8 cage now we know is not 1 2 5. So this is a 1 3 4 flavour, which is red. And presumably this one, therefore, has to be a 1 2 5 flavour, which is the yellow one. So these are 1 3 and 4. I'm going to put that in. I'm going to get rid of the 1 pencil mark. I'm going to get rid of the 1 pencil mark, put the 1 2 5 in. And I'm going to stare, hopefully, in order to deduce more things. Yes, okay, I've got one more thing there. This is 3s are aligning, aren't they? So you can't now put 3 in here, or we'd have 3 3s in 2 rows of the grid, in these 2 rows. Because you'd have a 1 3 there, 1 3 there, and 1 3 there. That's too many 3s for 2 rows. So that is not 9 3 7. That's now 9 4 6. Which is aligning our 4s, look, in these rows. So now there must be a 4 in the bottom row, not in those cells. So there's a 4 in one of those 2 positions. 6 can't go here by Sudoku. 9 can't go here by Sudoku. Oh, we already knew that the 1s were over there, didn't we? So that's not very exciting. Right, I know what those digits are now. They are 5, 6 and 8 by Sudoku. Doesn't seem to be resolved. Okay. We're creeping forward. What are these squares? They are 4, 7 and 8. That's still not done it either, has it? How bizarre. Absolutely bizarre. Okay. Okay, I've got 2 7 pair here. Is that no? That's aligning here. Don't understand. What am I missing? At least I haven't had a 3 in the corner that I've missed. That would have been disastrous. I come in for a lot of criticism when I miss those nowadays. I don't know. Maybe it's this line. That's the only. Well, it could be this line or this line, maybe. But this line, I've stared at that a couple of times. Thought I can't be bothered to pencil mark it, but maybe that's foolish. Right, let's try it. 1 4 6 8. And I know the 4 is down there. Okay, maybe I should have pencil marked this, because that also can't be 8. So this now is a 1 or a 6 only. Which, it doesn't quite get. I thought it was going to give me a 1 4 6 triple, but it doesn't. No, okay. I can't see how to use that. Alright, let's try this. Do I want to try this one? 6, maybe more Sudoku. Let's try more Sudoku first. 6 is up here, so 6 is not on this line. Does that matter? Let's try these 3 squares, because at least I've got some stuff eliminated in row 2. We've got to be looking at 4, 6, 8 and 9. We know that is not 9. These are not able to be 6. What does this line add up to? 19. So we can't. Right, that's a small point. Here, no, this is. Yeah, I think this matters actually. That cannot be an 8-9 pair, because then these 2 cells would have to add up to 2, which is not going to work. So there is a 4, look, in this domino, and that is not a 4. Oh, it's nearly, it's nearly getting there, isn't it? Okay. So if that's 4, 9, that would be 13. We'd need these squares to add up. Hang on, I've lost track of what it is I'm aiming for here. I'm aiming for 19, isn't it? I thought it was 17 for a moment. I was about to get very excited. But if that's 4, 9, 13, I'm aiming for 19. I need... That still doesn't work. That still doesn't work. If I make this 4, 9, there's no way to make those squares add up to 6. Because if this is 5, this has to be a 1, which it can't be. If that's a 2, it has to be a 4, which it can't be. So this is not 4, 9, so it's 4, 8. Wow. Wow, I suspect there was a much easier way of doing that, but I'm very pleased to have got that. That cell is now a 6. And that's a 6, and that's a 9, and that's massive, because we know those two add up to 11, so that's a 2, that's a 5. When I say massive, I might be overplaying my hand a bit there. What's this digit? Right, these add up to 12, so these add up to... Okay, so that's... Oh, that is good. Right, so what I could have appreciated is that this was a 2, 5 yellow pair, look. And once I get that side of the yellow pair, that becomes the other side of it. So 5 and 2 go in. That's not 5 anymore. So 5 is hiding at the bottom of column 9. Let's get rid of some pencil marks. Oh, is that... Yeah, I can do the 8 and the 4, of course. So I should trust my pencil marks as well. So this is not an 8 anymore. Those two squares up there are 3 and 9. Oh, I get one. Right, that's a 9. And that's 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the spotlight, losing its religion. Oh, that's very cool. Right, so that's 9, which means this is now a 4, 6 pair, which means that's now a 7. That's a 4, 8 pair. This is a 7, 1 pair. That's a 1. That's a 2, 5. So the bottom digit now needs to be a 3. Somehow doesn't seem to do anything in the row, which is really odd. Right, that's a 2 by Sudoku. That does do something. I get a 2 and a 7. So that's a 7 by Sudoku. And this is a 1, 5 pair, which I will put in and hope does something extra. Maybe it's the middle box we've got to do next. Ah, no, I'll still do some stuff here. 7 and 2 go in. And what else? Can we do anything else that's clever? Quite possibly. I'm not seeing anything else clever, I have to say. Good grief. What about that cell? That's not able to be a 1. That's the most useless deduction ever. I can't see how to... I can't see how to do very, very much better at the bottom. 2, 3, 7, 9. 2, 7, 9 in this. 4, 6. No, I can't see how to do it. Oh, how infuriating. You naughty puzzle. Okay, so we're going to have to look at the middle box then. So 7 is in one of those 3 cells by Sudoku. Now, is there a way to conclude that that's difficult or easy or not, or neither of those things? I don't know. 7 would have to go with 2, wouldn't it? Is there a reason this can't be 2, 7? Well, I would have had an eye for uniqueness there. In fact, maybe it is 2, 7. Because look, absent this white dot relationship, that would be a deadly pattern. So this could well be 2, 7, I think. So if that was 7, this would be 2. This would be either 1 or 3. Again, it could be 3, 6, and the white dot disambiguates it. So I don't think I know which one of those is 7. I really don't. That's very peculiar, isn't it? Right. That dot here, or not dot, this domino can't be 1, 8. Because if it was 1, 8, those would both be 4. So this domino is restricted because it also can't be 3, 6. So that domino is very explicitly either 2, 7 or 4, 5. Right, okay, well that's good enough. That's good enough. In row 4, where do we put 3? And it can't go here, remember, because if that's 3, that's 6, and that would be a 3, 6 pair, and that would break this. So I think that's got to be a 3, which makes that 6, which is presumably going to do things, he says. Alright, I don't think it does, but I'm going to go back to my row 4 logic. I'm going to say now where's 6 in the row? It can't go here because that would be a 3, and that would still break that. So that's a 6. Oh, there must be an easy way of doing this, mustn't there? What am I not seeing here? Okay. So now it looks like 1 is a bit restricted here. 1 can go there. If that's a 1, does the world break for some reason? That would be an 8. It does. Or does it? Actually, hang on. Did I just miscalculate that? 1 here would cause 8 here. Yeah, no, that doesn't work. It doesn't work at all. If that's a 1, what's this digit? Well, those have to add up to 9, so that's got to be 8. This now can't be a 9, so it has to be a 7. But if that's a 7, what's this digit? It's got to be a 2 to add up to 9, and that's not going to work. So the 1 in row 4, so this sort of whittling away at row 4 is what I've been reduced to doing. So this is now 4 at the bottom of the grid, which means that's not a 4. So this has become 1, 6, and 8. It's I still am not sure that I've really advanced the cause of knowledge, have I? It could be that I'm meant to sort of pencil mark this white dot. That could be another way of doing this. But you know me, I'm going to take probably the route of most resistance in order to figure this out. Okay, 1 in the middle box now is definitely in one of those 2 cells. And both of those cells are on white dots. So maybe this was right then, because that's really nice. Once 1 is locked into one of those positions, you can see this can't be a 1, because it would force this to be a 2. So the 1 has to be over here, which makes that the 2 and that the 7, which is what I suspected might happen in order to disambiguate this pattern. The only problem with this, of course, is that we get the disambiguation of the pattern, but we don't get, well, we get the 8 there. Oh, that might be helpful. Okay, so now we can't put 5 into this domino. So this has got to be the 4, 5 pair, and that's got to be the 3, 6 pair. And the 3, 6s are also getting disambiguated by this. So in order for this to be, oh no, both work still. I don't believe it. You naughty puzzle. Good grief. Okay. Alright, but this 8 we can still do work with. So that's 8, that's 4, that's 4, that's 3. This is 4, this is 5, and that tells us that this is the 6 in order to be consecutive, so that does the 3, 6 above it. The 5 and the 2 go in, and hopefully now we will be able to, that's become a 1 out of nowhere, so that's become a 6, 6 and 4, 5 and 1, 5 and 3, this becomes a 3-4 pair, which is now resolved. Gosh, it put up a stiff fight, this. It's an incredibly good puzzle, though. Absolutely amazing logic throughout. Not, it's not just a break-in, is it? It's really consistently interesting and difficult. But I think now, unless I've made an error, it looks like we're getting to a point where we can be pleased with ourselves. So this is a 1-5, which is now, I want to say, finished. Ripple by Mormagli. That is really, really clever. That, I think it is 5 stars out of 5 for difficulty. At the start I was thinking, I felt it was going well, and then I got really stuck, didn't I, around here and this column, and it took quite some thinking, and it was magical to realise that there's this huge restriction on these dominoes surrounding the central box. And I'm not sure at the end whether I could have found a better way than looking at row 4. I'll look forward to the comments, which will no doubt enlighten me about that. But I loved the puzzle. Absolutely brilliant. I'm going to ask for something slightly easier tomorrow, I think. It's been 2 very long videos in a day. I apologise if you don't like the long videos. It's always hard to tell. We try and find the best puzzles on earth for you. And I think we can be pleased that today we certainly found one of those. Thanks for watching, and we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.